So this game is called Bright Paw. It looked pretty interesting when I first had a look and read through it, so let's give it a go. New game. Intro music is pretty cool though.
Oh, there you are, Theo. Honestly, late to your own dream. Do you even know where you are? Ah well, it's time we got you sorted out with these cards. Come on now, we haven't got all day.
Tap and hold a card to preview and release and play.
Oh, sorry about that. Just give that rewind button a tap and we'll see if we can't start walking around things instead of into them. If you ever find yourself in a pickle, just remember that you can take a step back and try something else. Now, give these a whirl and see where they get you.
Is there a possibility that I can zhuzh it to the sides, maybe? Probably not. Oh,
there you go.
Good.
Remember, Theo, you can look around at any time. What's that just there? Maybe you should give it a peek.
Tap on a highlighted object. Odd cat box. A strangely familiar but otherwise non-scripted box washed up on the shores of Theo's subconscious.
I wonder what that's doing sitting around here. Maybe you should keep your eyes open for other interesting things. You never know what you'll find. Well, we're done here. Go on, leap into your family's arms. Lauren and Nathaniel are waiting.
Act 1, murder? What?
Ah! What was that? Oh, okay. Well. After being woken unceremoniously by a sudden noise, our hero Theo felt that if he was to be kept awake, he deserved to know why.
Well, this keeps lighting up. Okay. Theo's bed. A letter. Joshua's acceptance letter. An acceptance letter for tutelage at prestigious school. At a prestigious school, perhaps proof that genius is hereditary. Alright, so is there anything else in this room, perhaps? Oh, there we go. Nathaniel's recognition. It is always a cause for celebration when a genius is recognized. That is very true. It's actually pretty neat, though. I like the concept of how this game is played.
Hearing the yelling from the kitchen, Theo wondered if he had really moved from his bed just to listen to some tiff.
Despite the awkward posing happiness and pride visible in this photo. Hastily packed suits. A suitcase rapidly filled and suddenly cast aside. Ooh, were they in with bad people? No longer attended or cared for, but Gran despised the lack of use.
Perhaps things were a little more serious than he'd thought.
I'd say so. I do like the music though. I really do.
The
When it
kitchen
comes
seemed
to...
normal. Except, what was that he could see across the room? He had to take a closer look.
I do like the narrator as well. A selfie taken by Joshua during his travels after college, sent to his parents as a memento. Let's see if I can click on anything else. Is there anything else in the room that can be clicked on? Oh, ball. Okay. Joshua and Theo. A young boy and his cat, whoever said dog's a man's best friend, had clearly never seen this photo.
God. Theo couldn't believe what he was seeing. His family, motionless on the floor. But that was it. No gun? Nothing at all. Was someone else here? As he turned away, Theo could only think about one thing. Someone was surely responsible for this, and he had to know who.
Cat detective time. Cat detective time.
Cautiously examining the hallway, Theo saw no signs of the killer. Instead, he found a path of destruction carved through strange machines before him.
That one looks like it's got a butt on it. Nathaniel's graduation, the optimism of youth, obvious to the crushing disappointment of reality after formal education. Out of place robot, strange robot sitting in the front room and falling to pieces. Grandfather clock, like all household clocks, the rhythmic ticking is a constant reminder of the universe's slow march to entropy.
The deeper into the room Theo moved, the more he realized that something was amiss. That bright red light hadn't always been there, had it?
Act 2, chase.
Although he could not shake the image of his departed owners, Theo suddenly found himself somewhere very different indeed. However, before he could appreciate his new surroundings, he found his attention drawn to the glowing hot wall of energy in front of him. Faced with something so clearly hazardous, he thought it might be wise to take a moment to think before diving headlong into oblivion. Oh, what a pleasant surprise! After his daring maneuver, Theo found that he was still alive. Unfortunately, there was one... Clearly, Theo didn't have time to mess about with a killer on the loose. Perhaps that vent offered a way forwards.
Oh. Never mind. I'll probably end up playing it again anyways.
Still somewhat tense from his previous trial, Theo was immensely relieved to find no deadly lasers when he emerged from the vent. On the other hand, he was instead faced with a functional, frantic, and quite soggy security robot.
Comfortable flatfish. Janitorial bot. Are they in the future by any chance? That's actually pretty neat. There's starfish on there. Is there anything else we can collect? Oh, there we go. So, are we
as he skirted by the distracted machine, Theo found himself eyeing the hole-riddled aquarium. Either someone was stalking the halls shooting at water features, or the security needed to work on their aim. Though the appeal of fresh fish was enticing, it was offset by the risk of an unexpected bath. Rather than contemplate such a terrible fate any further, Theo decided to make a quick exit. Advancing cautiously, Theo was encouraged by the sight of another aquarium, this time with the water safely inside, not threatening to unpleasantly dampen his fur. There was no time to fish, however, as security appeared to be taking its job a touch more seriously.
Okay, let's click on that. Starfish alive? Not sure. Dead, maybe. Unfazed by the current situation, definitely. Well, starfishes don't tend to care. I mean, I've had one, I know. Okay. A golden cat statue.
Although Theo could be easily distracted, he knew when it was time to focus.
Alright, so... Whoops. I don't think that's the way I wanted to go.
Tearing his attention away from the unattainable, Theo delicately stepped between the broken remains of some very expensive-looking showpieces. Despite his lack of any understanding of fine art, he was disgusted by the wanton destruction before him. Having successfully weaved past the searching eyes of the guard, he was overjoyed to see that he could just follow the killer through a door, instead of crawling through the ventilation like a rodent. Theo cast his eyes about the grandiose room, the impressive decor marred by the smoking wreckage of robotic guards. Clearly, someone with no respect for interior design had been this way. However, hanging over the remains of a reception desk, Theo spotted something that took his interest. Bright Paw Industries.
Vending machine. So is this like in the future, I guess? Reception bar. What else? What else? Like on TV? No. Oh, there we go.
Despite the...
Oh, crap. God damn it. That wasn't what I was meant to do.
Despite the damage, the underlying class of this Bright Paw establishment was clear. The placement of several large aquariums, brimming with exotic fish, was an inspired design choice that Theo could respect. Theo crossed the room, breathing in the intoxicating fragrance of fish, while taking care to avoid the remaining hazards. As he did, his mind began to wander. Why was a place like this situated beneath his home? And more importantly, why had these fishy treats not been brought to his attention before?
Well, I don't think he'd want to eat jellyfish, to be honest.
At first glance, it appeared that Theo had stumbled into a storage room for broken glass. Except there were other items in the glittering fragments. Grenades? Missiles? An umbrella?
So is this a museum?
Did you know there are 239 different ways in which Bright Paw Industries is benefiting you and your family?
Oh crap.
Paw Industries, putting the U into eugenics.
Oh balls. No. There we go.
Theo padded behind the guard, pondering his discoveries. A hidden underground facility, robotic security, and now rooms filled with odd weapons. What on earth was this place? Looking back, Theo considered that it was perhaps unwise to leave such destructive toys lying around. On the other hand, there was no way someone would leave live explosives on display. Probably best to ignore it and hurry on. Theo contemplated the ruins of the once magnificent boardroom, which had been reduced to little more than burnt mahogany by some kind of explosion. Apparently, the killer had needed to clear the room in a hurry. But why?
But
Oh, perhaps those lasers were a motivator.
trap chair. Boardroom meeting. Oh wait, what's that? Oh, there we go.
With the wall of death slowly advancing, Theo
crap.
scrambled for a plan to slip by. There, across the room, a shattered glass wall offering a glimpse of escape.
Ah, shit. I feel like I want to wait. But I don't know, I can't. Oh, there we go. Oh, no. Let's wait.
Deftly avoiding glass with his paws, Theo found his eyes drawn to a large portrait on the wall. Was that
So,
Nathaniel? As he stood, he wondered, how much of all this was his master responsible for?
okay, Act 3. Motive. But yeah, this game is actually really good. I really
Someone
like
had
this
clearly
so
been
far.
rifling through the deliveries recently, though they didn't seem to have found what they were looking for.
So what, is the kid a mastermind, I'm guessing? Or just something went wrong, maybe? Okay.
Obviously, the killer had been looting the facility, and it was unlikely that they planned to use volatile weaponry to spread peace and joy. Being a conscientious cat, Theo knew it fell to him to put a stop to the killer's nefarious activities.
You watch, he'll turn out being a kid being a mastermind or something. Kills
Finding
his
himself
parents.
inside a warehouse, the towering stacks of crates gave Theo some measure of hope. Perhaps the killer would try to search the top of an unstable pile and fall to their doom.
Okay, there's a sea mine crate. Missiles, you know, because everybody likes missiles apparently.
Lost in daydreams of the killer being buried alive,
Oh, neat.
Theo stepped blindly forwards onto a conveyor belt, promptly shuffling him away from his happy thoughts. Perhaps it was unlikely that the killer would be ended by fallen cargo, but the belts leading into the dark and deadly machinery seemed to promise an untimely demise. Spotting a bundle under some nearby crates, it appeared Theo's wishes had been heard. However, he tempered his excitement until he could get a closer look.
Looted explosive crates. Completely average box.
Theo tempered his excitement, he didn't lose it. Stepping over a broken belt with great care, he was disappointed to discover not a body, but simply several empty crates bearing the label High Explosive.
Oh man.
The empty crates led Theo to conclude three things. The killer had found what they were looking for, they were definitely up to something, and Theo's work was not yet done. He moved on with the hope that the killer's loot would be enough to slow them down. Theo pondered the erratic crusade of the robots as they fired at non-existent threats. Perhaps the killer had just passed through?
Laser robot. Take cover. Is there anything else to click on? Oh, there we go. Algae container. Special design crate used to safely house ominous algae. Oh, okay, so that must be what this stuff is then. So, let me go right there.
The belt, unable to tell the difference between a cat and a crate, and lacking the desire to learn, moved him once again as it would any other box. As he headed for the door, Theo couldn't shake the feeling that the strange blue algae was creeping steadily across the wall behind him. Oh well, it was probably harmless.
A toad. Okay, scribble.
Whoever Theo was following had certainly spooked these poor robots who were all consumed by blind panic.
Scribbles. Big algae container again. There we go. Alright, so let's do that. Let's do back.
As he carefully padded forwards, avoiding lasers, Theo noticed the most curious drawing etched into the wall. But why would a killer stop to doodle? Theo couldn't stop thinking about the bizarre graffiti he kept seeing. It was unlikely the killer was taking the time for artistic creativity. Was someone else in the facility?
Maybe.
As he stepped into the room, Theo found his racing mind halted by yet another drawing of a slightly more significant scale.
Okay, it looks like I could click that. Okay, a gun rack. A rack of very lethal and very illegal arms and piss. Scribbles.
Theo tried his best to examine the etching, but
An 18
found it devoid of artistic value.
I did that wrong. Alright. So no. I did that totally wrong. Really? So, what if I did it like this then?
As he began to move away, Theo couldn't help but wonder who would put so much effort into these acts of vandalism. Was it maybe some kind of poorly drawn calling card? Perhaps, he
There
thought
we
as he
go.
carried on, the
Okay.
murderer was simply an awful artist. Whatever it was, the mural failed to hold Theo's interest long enough for any meaning to be gleaned.
According to the booming sounds of heavy industry and the massive shipping containers, Theo had found himself in some kind of loading station.
Okay, so load in one of two. Stairs, boxes, lights. So... Oh, what's that? What's that? Oh, there we go. Loading a bright red necktie deliberately knotted around the rail like a flag. It almost feels too obvious. I didn't even fucking notice that was there to begin with.
Theo's eye was caught by something colourful and clearly out of place hanging from a rail across the room.
Oh, I did that
A
wrong.
discarded tie. Was this some kind of taunt? It was becoming clear to Theo that the large boxes wouldn't just wait for him to cross, so he quickened his pace towards the infuriating clue. Clearly the killer had left this tie to send a message, but in doing so they had left a trail for Theo to follow. Perhaps he'd get the better of them yet. Though he was intrigued by the surprisingly expressive train waiting before him, on the other side of the tracks, a curious hole in the wall drew his eye. Perhaps the killer had made their own exit.
Yep, right there. Covered crate. Boarding. Scribble on the wall. Alright, so...
Stepping onto the train, Theo glanced towards his goal and noticed a strangely carefree-looking robot bumbling around near a control panel. Hopefully this one wasn't a threat. The train began to quake, and Theo couldn't react fast enough to leap off. He had better find something to hold on to.
Oh, dang.
Theo was quite unprepared for the sudden velocity and found his current predicament extremely upsetting. Luckily, he just needed to hold on until the train looped back to the station.
Alright. Oh, can I not? Okay. My bad.
As the hatch broke free and rocketed past him, Theo pressed himself against the train and vowed to dedicate the rest of the ride to keeping his eyes open for low-flying objects of feline destruction.
Ah, crap.
Theo might have found some comfort knowing he wasn't the only one caught unaware by the sudden departure. But it was all he could do to just keep his paws on the ground.
hit me, that's gonna hit me, that's gonna hit me.
Theo tried not to let the burning robot distract him from his efforts to survive!
Okay, maybe... Let's go back. Let's go like that. And then go like that. There we go. Okay.
In the distance, Theo could just about spot the station! Approaching at a rapid pace! He just has to hold on a little longer!
Okay. We made it. Back to the station.
Theo staggered off the train quickly, driven by his newfound appreciation for solid ground and the terrible fear that it might suddenly set off again.
Please ensure all luggage and felines are with you as you leave the train.
Just ahead of him, he could see that bloody robot that had sent the train off in the first place. As he followed the irritating machine through the jagged opening in the wall, Theo hoped that he wouldn't ever have to lay eyes on it again.
Act 4. Help.
Theo eyed his new surroundings curiously, noting the piles of unused tiles and pipes. Across what little floor existed, there was a sharp drop, from which a blinding light and tremendous heat emanated. Beside this abyss sat... that bloody robot.
Okay. Alright, so...
Theo focused on the path ahead, choosing to politely ignore the annoyance in the room. A shifting wall of energy was barring his progress. Perhaps turning off that strange machine would help. With the barrier successfully disabled, Theo was happy to move on and leave that robotic liability behind. Surely the killer couldn't be too far now.
Is that lava? We at the bottom of the fucking core or something? Tap on the power to flip it.
It was best to leave before that automaton did something foolish.
Did the game freeze? I'm clicking on that, but it's not doing anything. I'm clicking on the robot, but it's not doing anything. Did I encounter a bug where it froze? Cause it's not letting me do that, it's not letting me do that. I can like go to the extras and stuff, but... Oh, neat. Oh, a ginger kitty. Nice. Oh wait, what the hell was that one? Oh my god, that's a gloss effect kitty cat. Oh, that's a burning kitty cat, electrical kitty cat, and then normal Theo. Oh, he's so sweet. These are all robot skins. Oh, look at that one. Ooh. Collectibles, the family. Oh, okay, that's it. So that, okay. So that's where all the collectibles are that I gotta look at. Cat styles. Let's do, since I like purple, let's go purple. But yeah, I think I've been counting a bug here because it says tap on a power toggle to flip it. I'm clicking on it, but it ain't doing nothing. So I think I've encountered a bug there. So what I'm gonna do? Okay, but other than that, this game so far has been absolute fantastic. I've really enjoyed it. In honest opinion, I enjoyed it a lot more than what I thought I was going to. Which is usually rare sometimes for some games, but the narration is absolute perfect. I love it, and it's definitely different of a kind of style of how this has been made, like having to navigate and then having the narration story, then also collecting collectibles too, which is pretty neat. I really like that. But yeah, this game so far has been fantastic, and I can't wait to delve in some more. Please, if you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe. It would help my channel out so much. And I hope everyone has been enjoying these videos. Please, if you have any games, any recommendation games, please link them either in my Discord or my community post. I would be so much grateful for any games that y'all would like me to play. And I hope to see everybody again. Bye.